Hello, and welcome to Those Nerdy Girls Live. I'm Dr. Chana Davis. I have the pleasure of hosting you today with our incoming and outgoing executive directors. And with Sara Gorman handing off the torch to MK, we thought it would be a good time for Sara to say farewell and for MK to say hello and talk about Those Nerdy Girls plans for 2025. We also want to let you know what you can expect from us in this tumultuous time for public health and for the broader scientific community. Sara and MK, can you briefly introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sara Gorman. I'm a public health expert and author of 2 books, Denying to the Grave, Why We Ignore the Science That Will Save Us, and The Anatomy of Deception, Conspiracy Theories, Distrust, and Public Health in America. I study, research misinformation and trust in health and science. And I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Critica, a nonprofit organization that conducts research on misinformation and develops interventions to reduce it.
And I'm MK. First of all, I want to say, Chana, thank you so much for hosting us today and all the work you do hosting all of our lives. You're amazing, and there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes, so thank you. And Sara, I have to say, it's just been an amazing joy working with you. We started on the reproductive health squad together in July 22, and Sara knows that the work with Those Nerdy Girls and Sara in particular has rooted me in community and joy. And so I'm really grateful to have had you in my life the last 2.5 years. I'm a family nurse practitioner with expertise in reproductive and sexual health, substance use disorder treatment, harm reduction, and inclusive care for folks who find themselves marginalized due to intersecting identities. I've been a writer, like I said, and editor for Those Nerdy Girls with Sara since July 22. And last year, I became the first content manager of Those Nerdy Girls. Super excited and fired up to be stepping into this role as executive director.
We are very excited to have you. Your passion and energy are very inspiring.
Thank you.
So why don't we get started? Sara, since you've been at the helm for a while now, I wanted to share some reflections looking back on what we've accomplished. So what are some highlights in terms of how the impact we've had in the last year?
Sure. So first of all, I just wanted to tell MK the feeling is mutual. It's been such a joy working with you. I'm so excited to see you step into this role.
I gotta say, it's Valentine's Day and we're having a serious love fest.
Yes, we are. We are. It was a great day to do this. So I wanted to just give some 2024 by the numbers. Our total reach across platforms was close to 200,000, and we had a monthly reach of close to 600,000, which was really exciting. Our amazing writers have collectively spent over 3,360 hours writing for Those Nerdy Girls as volunteers. Amazing work. And together we created 218 posts. Each usually, as the writers tell me, take around 5 to 7 hours. So you do the numbers. That's an amazing amount of work that they put into our amazing organization. In terms of platform growth and engagement, we had 8% growth on Instagram, 25% growth on LinkedIn. We have 13,000 followers on Threads and 3,000 followers on Blue Sky. And growing. And I just want to shout out our amazing social media lead, Irini, who has done so much amazing work and continues to just sort of take us to new levels. So we're so grateful to have you. In terms of fundraising, we raised over $70,000 in 2024, bringing us on the path toward financial sustainability. And in our Giving Tuesday and End of Year campaign, we welcomed 134 new donors and saw a substantial increase in the average donation amount over the past year.
That is awesome news. Like say, we are rocking it. What can I say?
Yeah, I think so.
and Sara, since this is, a handoff moment for you, I wanted to give you the chance to reflect on some of the highlights that maybe are not, numerical in nature.
Sure. I just want to say that in general, and I'm not really fully exiting, I'm serving as an advisor on the executive committee still, and I'm still going to be a contributing writer. So because as our amazing COO Gretchen says, those nerdy girls is Hotel California, you can't leave. And I think she's right, because I was going to leave for like 5 days, and then I missed it too much. And I said, can I please come back to the executive committee? And they welcomed me back. So it just is a little part and parcel of just how strongly I feel about this organization. It's an amazing community and just such a tight-knit, wonderful group of people. And so I think some of the highlights were working with all the wonderful writers day in and day out, and seeing what wonderful things this team can accomplish together. I mean, the amount of camaraderie, the way that we edit each other's works with such grace and compassion, but with, we really do challenge each other as well. And it's wonderful to see. And also just in general, working to help everyone make healthier and more informed decisions is what our mission is. And I can see that we're doing that. And so that's been a real highlight. I think especially we came together in person for a bonding and strategy session in Maryland, which was just transformative to all be together in the same room and spend that time together in person. Obviously, all the rest of our work is virtual. So that was a huge highlight for me. Onboarding several new cohorts of writers with an interdisciplinary focus and a wide range of fields has been so exciting, and really refining our training process and knowing that we're really bringing scientists into the fold to be able to communicate better with the general public is such an amazing mission. And then finally, establishing new partners with a broad range of high-profile organizations. So this ranges from factcheck.org, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, Yale School of Public Health, the World Health Organization, and that's just a very small portion.
Public Good News is another
Public
one.
Good News, thank you. That's just a small portion of our really high impact partnerships.
Yeah, these highlights really resonate with me. I think so. It's so easy to spend your life in a silo of people that work exactly in your field, and we're so cross-functional that each of us learn so much from each other. And I love being exposed to and working closely with people with such different expertise, but a common mission. That really resonates. I was going to mention when you talked about impact that we have a Slack channel where we share readers' messages of appreciation. And I guarantee that that's one of the things you were alluding to. So I just wanted to let the readers know how much we all celebrate those comments that come in.
They really mean a lot to us. They really help energize us.
Yeah, those really keep us going. So thank you for those.
Yeah. All right. So let's shift gears and start looking forward. So MK, what can you tell us about our mission and goals for 2025?
Sure. Well, Sarah mentioned our original mission was to help readers make better health decisions by providing practical and factual health information. When we do this, we build confidence among readers in navigating the complex health information, and then they share it with others. And that's been a huge part of our mission. To that mission, we've added a commitment to lift the voices of women and non-binary scientists and clinicians, and to reach even more folks from various communities across the US and even globally. We always are aiming to have our information be accessible and actionable. And in 2025, it's an important year for us to think creatively about how to do that. We know that just providing facts doesn't work. So we're thinking a lot about that together as a team. We really think it's important to build relationships with our readers. So you'll notice we have the question box. We really respond to comments. And when we respond, we show people our humanity. We're in this together. The other thing that we're doing is, as Chana was just mentioning, we're adding, and Sarah mentioned too, we're adding scientists and clinicians from different fields, backgrounds, and perspectives. And with those different perspectives, with each voice that we add, we know that we can reach even more people. We're also thinking about different learning styles and different ways of communicating. So we've recently started something called Nerdy Notes, which is sharing science and health in the form of poetry, narrative, personal stories. We have a great team that's working on videos. We've got infographics. So just getting really creative with how we share our information.
Mm-hmm.
And then leaning into this concept of that's from actually a Minnesota congressperson. We all do better when we all do better. We're, as Sarah said, embracing partnerships. We're sharing what we have learned and are learning. We don't have a sense of ownership of the work that we do. We want to share what we do. We want to build everybody's skills in health communication. And we love, love, love partnerships. Something that's been really on the top of our minds is how to create a sense of sustained commitment to high quality information. And so we have created an information hygiene team. I want to shout out Chana for being on that team. It's one of the ways we assure the highest possible form of communication information that we're sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've also mentioned this. I think one of our most important goals is to achieve financial stability. We've mentioned that we started off as a completely volunteer organization. And still 5 years in, we still operate mostly as a volunteer organization with only 3 paid part-time staff. That's not really sustainable in the long term. And so this year we get to think really creatively about how we're going to make this endeavor last for the marathon we are running.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, MK, for shedding some light on what we're striving for this year. And can you illuminate now what's going on behind the curtain? Because I don't think our readers have any sense of all that goes into what they see.
That's such a great question. We have the most amazing core support team. Many of our readers already will recognize the name of our Chief Operations Officer, Gretchen Peterson. She's been the glue since the very beginning, and she does all things operational. And she is the one who's taking care of posting on Facebook. So that's how you'll recognize her name. She also sends out our thank you letters, responds to readers, and just doing an amazing job of keeping us going. And then we've mentioned Irini Hajisaba. She's our Director of Science Communication, and she's the one who's making those amazing things happen across 7 or 8 platforms. She's always thinking of creative ways to reach people. She happens to be a molecular and cellular biologist who does this work on the side, and she's leading a great creative team to get the content out to you. And then I'm super excited to introduce, you may have seen it in one of our posts, but our new content manager, Sandy Lapping. She's a physical therapist and an epidemiologist in training. I think she's on the line right now. Shout out to really an organizational genius who is so strategic about helping us figure out processes that work better. We're really lucky to have her. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to say, we've mentioned it, but our writers and our editors are volunteers. So they're doing their day jobs, and then they're coming at night after the kids are in bed, and they are giving it all to make the content that you're seeing every day. And we do post nearly every day. So our writers are amazing. We just brought on a new cohort, 15 new scientists and health communicators. We just finished training them. It was a 6-week training course, training on our style, plain language, information hygiene, and a lot more. So now we're up to 40 dedicated folks who do this work, again, in addition to their day jobs. We can't emphasize enough what tremendous amount of work you're all doing. I'm pointing to you, Chana, because you're one of them. We have experts in infectious disease, aging, mental health, reproductive health, data literacy, and like I've mentioned, we have teams for information hygiene. And this year, I'm super excited to announce that we're starting a health equity team, because public health and health equity are, if not the same thing, completely intertwined. And so we're super excited about that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to underscore the 5 to 7 hours for each post.
Yeah.
I took a little survey last year and asked the writers, how many hours do you spend? Some people said 9 hours. That wasn't the average, but some people said up to 9 hours. So if you just think about that, it's like each post is like this labor of love. And in fact, I need to work on one of my posts tomorrow, and I'm just like, okay, got to set aside 5 hours.
Yeah, it absolutely is a labor of love. And then that's, most of that time, that time, well, depending on how people did it, but it's not just the writing side, but it's also the editing side, because we have a, very involved peer review. So there's often a couple of rounds of back and forth that adds more time, but is so important for our quality.
I'm glad you brought that up, because it's 5 to 7 hours that the writer is doing on their own, but it's actually a 10-day production cycle, where in that 10 days, all 40 of us are adding different perspectives. So yeah, it's an amazing process happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. I just realized I haven't been, I usually drop some links into the comments, and we do have a link that elaborates on some of the stuff we talked about. I'm just going to drop that in there now before we move on to the next question. Okay. Oh, I see Gretchen chiming in there. There she is.
Gretchen, did you hear, were your ears itching?
Yeah. Gretchen's shouting out to Sandy, who's probably shouting out to Gretchen right now.
We have a really good team, I have to say. It's a stellar team.
So, MK, this is a especially tumultuous time for, as you alluding to, for public health and all health and scientific research. So, what is Those Nerdy Girls going to be providing during this especially critical time?
It's a great question. As we've always done, we're going to continue to provide evidence-based information. What that means is we're going to share information that's been well researched and information that you can really trust. We are going to address events and decisions that affect public health. We're not going to focus necessarily on decision makers, but really what the impact that things have in your life and information that you can use to make decisions. Mm-hmm. Everything that you read from Those Nerdy Girls, comes from an empathetic tone. And I'm going to say that's not put on. It's because we don't think we're experts. We know we're people with expertise, and we're grappling with the same health questions and science questions that you are, right? I'm a clinician. I'm a family nurse practitioner. I have the same questions about immunology that you have. And so we're really going to let you know that we're humans with the same questions. Mm-hmm. We're going to do our best to avoid stoking fear or fortune telling. The news cycle can be scary. We're going to try and step away from that fray. And we're going to stick to what we know. We can extrapolate from past experiences, but we're going to be clear that that there are things that we don't know. We're always going to say that when we don't know. And we're just going to give you the best information that we have at the time. How about that? We're always going to aim to educate rather than providing commentary. We want to give you the resources so that you can assess information on your own when you're not reading Those Nerdy Girls post. Mm-hmm. And then our style is always to try to give you actionable steps and available resources when available. And that's including links to social support resources, hotlines, databases that can connect you to the services that are available. Mm-hmm. We're going to do our best to keep you updated, right? So the information we have today might change next week. And so we're going to do our best to keep you updated. As always, we want you to send in your questions to our question box. We want you to put comments. We love all the comments, even hard comments. We look at them all and we try to answer the ones that we can. Mm-hmm. And again, we're just going to remind you that we're in this together. Every post, we're going to just try and let you know that we're in here with you.
Yeah, that sense of solidarity is worth so much right now. We see that on Slack a lot within Those Nerdy Girls, right? Where I think we're all holding hands right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to link quickly to that post, and then we're running down the clock here, so we'll shift into some closing comments and additional resources, because this is Those Nerdy Girls. We're not the only ones that have a lot of value to add in this time. So we want to make sure that you're aware of some of the other places that we go, and that you can go to get reliable, actionable information rooted in the latest evidence. So MK, why don't you start first with any kind of closing comments and reflections, messages to readers, to the team, and resources you want to shout out.
Okay. First, I want to say that I have just immense gratitude to the team that I'm so honored to work with, to our readers, especially now. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. You keep us going. You keep us inspired. You keep us motivated. I also want to say that we're not operating in a silo. We're operating amongst some amazing, some stellar health communicators, and we want you to know about them. As a reproductive health specialist, one of my favorites is Dr. Jen Gunter. On our team, what'd you say?
She's Canadian. Shout out to.
Oh,
okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. And I just wanted to shout out Chana. Chana is one of the scientists fueled by science that you can always go to for really trustworthy science information. Gideon MK Health Nerd is another one. Sarah, do you want to add some?
Yeah, sure. I really like factcheck.org. They're one of our partners, but it's just kind of no nonsense debunking. And they do really in-depth, wonderful work, including on some political topics. So that's a good place to go if you're looking for that. Also, I would say Unbiased Science with Jess Dyer is just an amazing resource as well for really, first of all, very quick responses to things that are happening out there, including a lot of debunking of like questionable papers that get picked up by mis and disinformation peddlers, and just kind of cutting through the noise, which is really great. And then there are two podcasts that are relatively new that I like a lot. One is Why Should I Trust You? Which, as you can tell from the title, is kind of about a lot about how Americans have lost trust in the healthcare system and what has sort of happened there, which is the topic of my recent book. So I've been really interested in that. And then Misguided, which is a good podcast about misinformation. So those are some of my top picks. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to add in Science Whiz Liz.
Beat me to it.
Okay. Sorry, Chana. Go ahead. You tell more about Science Whiz Liz.
Yeah, Science Whiz Liz is actually a fellow geneticist by training, like myself, and she has her own great social media page, Instagram. I think she's most active on, but she also has a newsletter, Science in the Classroom. And lately, she's been talking a lot about science funding and providing insights into what like that NIH funding really is for, and why basic science is not just an academic exercise. It's actually impactful foundation that needs to be funded. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Liz's, and I'm so glad that she joined those Nerdy Girls. But her page is an amazing effort on its own.
Oh, I do want to add one more, actually, if I can. A brand new contributor, Cindy Leifer, is an immunologist and has a podcast and writes something called Amino Minutes. So we're really excited to have her join the team.
That reminds me, I interviewed Dr. Emily Smith, friendly neighbor epidemiologist. She's amazing from a global health perspective and just from a neighboring perspective.
From a heart perspective.
Yeah. Emily's work is awesome. I also like unambiguous science. Sabina, who's Canadian. Yeah. So for a Canadian perspective on public health, her handle is unambiguous science, and she's very active. Sabina Vora Miller. Recommend her for all things Canadian as well.
Did we mention, is it Science Up First? Did we mention
I was just going to do that. Yeah. They've been a partner of ours as well. They have great content on health topics, especially they recently did a campaign about misinformation, where they had great information about what it is, what to do about it, how to respond. So I would definitely look them up. They're also Canadian.
Yes.
A lot of good stuff happening from Canada.
Their campaign was Together Against Misinformation, right?
Yeah.
We hosted them and then they hosted you. So
yeah,
we could probably go on all day here with all the different partners that are out there, because there are amazing.
We need each other, right? We can't, none of us can do it alone. And so I love that we're working together, we're shouting each other out. And I hope that the readers know that they can continue to look to us. When we find a great science communicator, we're going to shout them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's been great to see a lot of us shouting each other out, and so we can. None of us can do it all, right? So it's great.
Maybe we should do a community engagement post where we ask people their favorite.
What's your
outlets.
favorite?
Yeah,
that's a great idea. Let's do it.
I like
Gretchen, do you hear it?
I see Gretchen and Sandy are both online right now, so yeah, it's gonna happen. So Sarah, this is your chance to say some closing remarks. Like you said before, you're not going anywhere, but anything else you want to say as we wrap up today?
On this Valentine's Day, I just wanted to say I have so much love for the team and our readers as well. It's been such an incredible journey. I like just more than I could ever have imagined, and I feel so lucky to have been a part of it. I am definitely a little sad to be stepping away, but I'm excited about the next chapter in my journey, which involves focusing a bit more on Critica, which is my organization, and actually furthering my education with a doctorate in public health.
That's exciting. Yeah, I will say the fact that you said spending more time at Critica makes me chuckle, because Dirty Girls is also like a black hole, right? Like it will suck as much time as you will give to it. So
okay. I do want to say that I am promoting rest and pleasure. It's part of the work ethic at those Dirty Girls.
She is. She's good at that.
I'm really doing my best.
MK has been a big inspiration for me to prioritize myself.
Yeah, that I appreciate. MK, you're the one who got me to delete Slack from my phone, and by the way, so thank you. It has just brought me a little more space in my mind.
Balance.
So yeah, I'll just wrap up echoing the same sentiments, that I'm so grateful for this amazing team and for our readers. Your engagement really does keep us going. Like I mentioned, those comments of appreciation mean the world to us. And it's heartening to know that you care enough to do the work to follow the evidence rather than follow the clickbait. And so it's nice to know that our work is valued and people need this and want it and appreciate it. So thank you to our readers. That is it. I'm signing off. Thank you all for being here. And yeah, follow us on.
It's Valentine's Day. Let's see if we can get.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't work.
I know Zoom does that. I know my Facebook. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyways, all of you, and follow us on. Now we're on basically every social media platform at Those Nerdy Girls, and come subscribe on Substack if you don't already.
Consider a paid subscription. It helps keep the lights on.
Exactly. Okay, that's all for now. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Sending love your way.